black box theater, presenting little song sketches and improvising and recording everything. I think most of the ideas that we ended up writing songs with came out of that time. And from there, we went and did more kind of workshopping in New York, and then eventually Sufjan took these kind of raw ideas away and wrote over them and wrote melodies and lyrics, and Nico then orchestrated that into the much bigger kind of vertical piece that it became.
My background is as a classical musician, but actually Bryce has as long a pedigree as I do, and you've written large orchestral scores, so we all speak that language. Just some of us.
I just have a plugin that I use. Actually.
Yeah, you just press. Yeah, exactly. It really was a kind of tag team effort.
Teamwork.
And
that's why they call it a collaboration.
Exactly.
That wasn't me.
We actually recorded it exactly as we had played it after our last performance, right? We went up to a studio in upstate New York.
It was like that the same week, so it was really fresh in our minds. And we had the trombones, and we had the strings, and we had all the gear, and we just set up and did multi-tracking, and so we heard it all. We're like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we added this and this?" And
you know, I feel like what we did is we kind of regressed, we kind of returned to the original kind of developmental process.
Yeah, like it was like
studio again, and then we made a mess, and then just we just shelved it.
Like literally, the hard drives were put on a shelf, like in Dumbo, and we all went and did went back to our day jobs for 3 years, 4 years, for a long time.
Yeah, and then when we reopened it, I think all of us agreed that we didn't want to just document a live concert, but wanted to make an album, something new.
Yeah.
So the record itself is like we built a house inside the house and then tore the first house down or something.
And then it was actually Sufjan and James here who
I built the house. I tore down the house.
And then built the other house and the carriage house. But you went in the tomb first and discovered like what a mess we had left.
Mm-hmm. I finished touring, got home in September, and literally plugged in the hard drive, and I was like, let's see what's here. Here's this fun project that's about the universe, cosmology, and outer space, and planets. And I'd kind of forgotten that we had made this thing, so it was fun to fun to go back to it and sort of rediscover it. And I was rebuilding this thing, and
with James,
who's not here. He's the drummer and the percussionist, and we finished it, finally.
And somehow it became twice as long.
It was expanded as the universe expands.
Slowly.
And then we brought it out, presented it to the world, and they threw us a ticker tape parade.
Yeah, exactly, finally, exactly.
Well, ever since the dawn of time, man has always looked up to the stars.
There's nothing new about this.
There's nothing new. Yeah,
we needed something vast. I think to fit all the personalities and
it really couldn't be too.
In a way,
too specific.
It suited the project to have this kind of expansive quality of space.
I feel like the original sketches we created were very spectral in tone and color, and that's probably what initiated even sort of unconsciously in my mind. And we were just categorizing the ideas according to astrological signs, just to organize them.
But what Sufjan managed to do is just kind of go at it from a mythological point of view.
There's a little bit of science in there.
It's definitely there, but it's mythology and kind of astrology and astronomy has always basically you try to sort of humanize the planets, and you humanize the gods and as you humanize constellations. To me, it's the most amazingly funny way to organize the sky, because you look up and of course the objects are not on a two-dimensional surface, and you're connecting things that are billions of light years away or whatever, and but it does that, right? You see the romance of the plow, and you see the romance of the dipper, and you see you see Orion's belt, and he got up there as a war hero. I mean, there's a lot of
it's already personification.
We had to do very little.
Yeah, I think everyone should write music about space.
Agreed. At least once.
I mean, favorite planet as far as the songs go?
No, as far as reality goes, planet Earth is the best.
Yeah, totally.
We're kicking everyone's ass.
Yeah, we're totally here at this time, collaborating. definitely Earth.
Yeah, even this project has been really interesting to just sort of return to sort of elementary school science and astronomy, and to kind of rediscover that most of the universe is chaos and uninhabitable, and dead. So that we have such evidence and abundance of life here is a real miracle. So I vote for planet Earth.
Yep. Seconded.
You?
I'll go for it.
I will tell you that our Pluto standpoint, and I think we're sticking to it, which was that the Wi-Fi password for our onstage network was Pluto is a planet, which we have to change.
We're rooting for Pluto.
We're rooting for Pluto. Well, you know what? Also, planetary science. It's like I feel like it changes every 5 minutes. It's like reading the health section.
Especially lately.
Yeah, right? Well, it's like reading the health section of the New York Times where it's like, only eat eggs, never eat eggs, only eat butter, never eat... I think Pluto has undergone a lot of that.
Pluto is just sort of a symbol, like a representation of the 99.9% that's underrepresented out there in the Kuiper Belt. There's just so many objects just flying around out there, unknown to us.
Makes me so scared.
We would like to give those planets a voice.
Yeah, exactly. Voicing the voiceless by Sufjan Stevens.
Plus Pluto is pro-American.
Yeah, right.
Right? It's the only planet discovered by an American, so...
Is that true?
Clyde Timbaugh. Tombaugh. What, how do you pronounce
I have no idea.
Anyway, so we're sticking with Pluto.
Yep, go Pluto. Alien.
Alien, and then Aliens.
And then Alien Cube, and then Alien Resurrection.
And then Winona Ryder.
That was Alien Resurrection.
Alien is the best.
It's the scariest movie of all time.
2001 is beautiful.
2001 is beautiful.
I love Battlestar Galactica. I think the original Star Trek TV show is brilliant. Star Wars, overrated. Way overrated.
I don't know. I like the first... Anyway, there's a lot of great movies about space. Including Star Wars.
Some music about space. Interesting.
Bowie.
Bowie.
I think all art made before this current cultural climate takes on a new light.
There's some sort of prescient things in the lyrics.
But the good news, I think art, music is always being made in kind of complicated situations. So it tends to do fine. It tends to survive.
Yeah, and history repeats itself, and the history of the Greeks and the Romans is sort of a template for the modern world, for better and for worse. And the narratives that I was drawing from are all about the confrontation between order and disorder, and peace and war, and love and forgiveness, and good and evil, and like power, and how power becomes corrupt. The spiritual chaos of the gods, and how that relates to the social chaos of civilization, and what does it mean to be a human, and what does it mean to have human rights? These are the questions they were asking
thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
We still have to ask.
And they were using the stars and the planets and their understanding of nature to answer these questions. So it's not a new question. It's the unanswerable question.